Hi guys, it's Achimano. How's everyone doing? Good, I hope. So today I wanted to do a continuation of a video I did a few months back. Well, I say a few months back, it was actually 6 months ago. I did a spotlight on Phaedon or Phaedon's Eau de Toilette line. They also have an Eau de Parfum line as well, and the fragrances are entirely different. They don't have one fragrance in two concentrations. They have these fragrances are Eau de Toilette and these fragrances are Eau de Parfum. So the reason I'm not or haven't done any individual reviews on any of these fragrances is because the entire line is kind of designed to be a bit more stripped back and linear. They don't have extensive note lists, so I don't really feel like they warrant in-depth reviews because they are relatively simple, and plus there's a shit ton of them as well, if I'm going to be honest. So today I wanted to do the Eau de Parfums. I, on the whole, enjoy the Eau de Parfums more, not just because they are Eau de Parfums, I just really like the smell of a lot more of the Eau de Parfums than the Eau de Toilette. There are a few standouts in the Eau de Toilette, but the most popular ones from the brand, the ones that I get asked about a lot, or the ones that I see talked about the most, come from the Eau de Parfum line, and they're just a bit nicer, I think. So, this is going to be skin test today because I have run out of blotters. This could be interesting as there are 9 of them. But I'm just going to jump in and do it. So let's do it. So Phaedon, it's based on Greek simplicity. That's why the fragrances are simple. They each celebrate at least 1 or 2 ingredients from the Mediterranean, whether that be figs or certain flowers or certain plants or things like that. So they're really cool. I like them. There's a couple that stand out, like I said. So I'm just going to grab whatever ones and then we're going to do it. So grab. Which one have I grabbed first? So, okay, this one is one of the standout ones. It's called Antigua. This one is considered to be a fruity fragrance of theirs. They do have one other fruity in the Eau de Toilette line, which is called Pluie de Soleil. Go and check out the video. I'll post a link, like I said. But Pluie de Soleil, it's probably my second to least favourite out of all of them. Sorry to anyone that likes it, but I do think it kind of smells a little bit like cheap body spray. Antigua is much better. So, yeah, let's spritz it on. So this one has got bergamot, cedar, fig tree leaves, grapefruit, guava, oak moss, patchouli, peach, rose, vanilla and vetiver. I really like this one. It's on a more tropical feeling than Pluie de Soleil. You can really feel the guava. Oh my gosh, there's a plane which is going to really interfere, so maybe I'll wait till it passes. So yeah, this one's really nice. I can feel mainly a grapefruit guava type feeling, so it's got a sharpness, but then there is this tropical feeling too. It also feels quite green, and I like that. It almost feels herbaceous tropical at the same time. I don't really feel the greenery when I smell it at work, when the place is saturated with perfume, but when I smell it outside of work, like now, it's a really lovely one. If you like grapefruit, if you like that sort of sharp citrus, but it also almost feels like a grapefruit has grown in a tropical country, and you can feel a kind of leafy, herbaceous element as well. This one's really nice. It's one that I would consider buying myself. It's one of the, I think, better and or standout ones from the line of the Eau de Parfum. So that's Antigua. So the next one's called Ilangara. I really like this one. This one is one of the sweetest, I think, in the line. It's one of the smoothest also. This one is centered around ylang ylang and almond. So I think it's actually almond blossom. Let me just look it up. Yes, it's almond, benzoin, cedar, copahu balm, frankincense, gaiac wood, gurjum resin, ylang ylang, vetiver and lemon. This is really friendly. It's really lovely actually. It's incredibly soft and fluffy feeling. The almond is the main thing you can feel, with that kind of a subtle tropical floral behind. It's kind of rich and full body, but it's really smooth and almost powdery and very, very sweet. The only other one that I can think of that would be as sweet as this would be possibly Cotton Egyptian or Taboc Rouge, which is coming up. But this one's really nice, so friendly. I would call it a safe blind buy if you know you like almost gourmand type fragrances. It doesn't feel super gourmand, but I would say it's between floral and gourmand. Yeah, it's a really nice one. Oh, it's kind of comforting. I would wear this one to bed. Super fluffy, like fluffy towels and warm hugs. It is not, however, the ylang fragrance I am searching for. The hunt still continues for that, by the way. So the next one is Pure Azure. This is the only one that has red liquid. It's really strange, and I don't know why it would be red, but this one's centered around fig again, and it's also got neroli and tonka. It's another really sweet, smooth one. Actually, this is another one that's up there as being one of the sweetest. This is also one of the best sellers from them. I really like this one. You get all of that together. There's a smooth tonka, but it doesn't feel super almondy like Ilangara. The tonka is giving it its body and its weight and its sweetness. And then you have this green neroli smell. It's really nice. And then the fig is adding another green element to it. But it's not like fig leaf, I wouldn't say. It's more like a fruity fig. But mainly it smells green. The neroli is at the forefront, and orange blossom doesn't smell as green as neroli. Neroli is, even though they're the same thing, but they're extracted differently. The oil is extracted differently. Neroli comes from steam distilling orange flowers, so it has a different smell to pure orange blossom. It's greener, it's a little bit more herbaceous. This is a really nice one. It makes me think of holidays. It makes me think of Greece, in fact. I don't know why that's the idea, but a lovely one. All three of these so far are way better than most of the eau de toilettes in terms of how interesting they are and how much nicer they are. I love this one. Ilangara, gosh, it goes even sweeter when it's dry. I would say, yeah, it probably is a little bit more gourmand. It's almost like Play-Doh, this one. But I like it all the same. But yeah, really nice. Pure Azure is a really good one, and it is one of the best sellers. So, moving on. So the next one is called Black Vetiver. This one I don't get asked about too much. It's a very light vetiver, and it does have a very unusual ingredient in it, which is lemon tree leaves. Normally you hear about petitgrain in fragrances as opposed to lemon tree leaves. It's normally more about orange tree leaves and twigs, but lemon tree leaves, I don't know any other fragrance that has that in. The question is, does it work? I'm not sure. This one has a slight astringent type feeling to it, and without sounding too harsh, it does feel a little bit like something you would clean your kitchen with, unfortunately. Sorry, Phaedon, or any fans, but it's a bright, astringent lemon smell with a lighter vetiver underneath. It's not a full-on vetiver, it's almost like dry, grassy lemons smell. If you can imagine what the leaves of a lemon tree might smell like, you've probably got it nail on the head in your imagination. It smells exactly like what I would imagine. It's okay. I don't think it's one that jumps out as being, oh, that's beautiful or that's interesting. It's definitely cool because of the lemon tree leaves, but the vetiver is almost like an afterthought to me, so this one's a pass. But if you like fresh and you want to try a vetiver that isn't too in your face or too grassy or too masculine, maybe that one might be a good one for you. So I've done a little quick wash of the skin in between. So this one is called Pestbearers. Something about the garden of Hesperides. And this is another aromatic from the line. This one has chamomile, iris butter, lavender, lemon tree leaves again. So there is another fragrance with lemon tree leaves, both from the same brand though. Musk, nutmeg, orange, patchouli, rosemary, sage and thyme. So this is about the Greek mythology garden of Hesperides. It's quite a nice one. Chamomile in fragrances, I think, is something that's a little bit tricky. People think it's soothing. I don't know how much it works in a fragrance, but this one's light, bright, pleasant, easy to wear as well. It does feel lemony. It feels a little bit like something you might drink, like a herbal tea kind of thing, without the tea part. So it's really subtle, this one. Even though it's an eau de parfum, I do find it to be on the subtler, quieter side. I mean, I really have to put my nose to my hand to smell this one, so this should belong in the eau de toilette, I think, but this one isn't super, super interesting, unfortunately. I can feel the herbaceousness of sage and thyme. I don't feel any iris, unfortunately. I think iris would have given it a bit more oomph and a little bit more depth. You know, like the citrusy jelly sweets that you get There are fruity ones, like strawberry ones, but the kind of green, yellow jelly top sweets, it smells like that, but without the sugary element to it. So this one I'm not sure about. I think I'm going to have to pass on this one as well. So the next one is one that actually gets talked about quite a bunch. It's called Rouge Avignon. This is the one that quite a few people ask for when they come into my shop. This one is, it gets compared a lot to Tom Ford's Black Orchid, and I have to say, I don't know why. I don't really see the resemblance. They do share a couple of notes that are similar. This one has rose in it, it has raspberry, it has cocoa, and it has tuber, which is a kind of mushroomy thing, which I think is in Black Orchid as well. So I guess it's a rosy, chocolatey, mushroomy type thing, and that's why people associate it with Black Orchid, but no way is this as dense or as bold or as crazy as Black Orchid. It is one of the better ones though, I do like it. A chocolate raspberry rose is what comes to mind, with an earthy undertone from this tuber. I do like it, I think it's a really cool one. There's almost a dry earthiness that is juxtaposed from this raspberry rose thing. It's like raspberries planted in soil kind of thing, if that makes sense. The rose is really bright. It's not an obvious rosy fragrance, but it's more about a kind of earthy raspberry type thing. So it's kind of fruity, earthy, and crisp. Like I said, Tom Ford's Black Orchid is, like I described it as a wall of scent. It's a lot going on. This one's a lot more open textured and a bit lighter. It's kind of cool. It's a tiny bit smoky as well. But yeah, that's a cool one. I like it. I'm going to do the next two together because I can never remember what either of these smell like, even though I work with them every day. The first one is Sable Marocain, so Moroccan sand. This one has labdanum, vetiver, ginger, gaiac wood, cocoa, and copahu balm as well. This one is quite odd. I'm not really sure what to make of this. I don't really think it smells like a fragrance at all. It's an unusual one for sure. It does feel a little bit vetiver-y, and it does feel a little bit balsamic. And I can smell a tiny bit of something that feels ambery, which is, I'm guessing, the labdanum, because labdanum is used in the amber accord. So, but it's nowhere near as sweet as an amber fragrance at all. It's not pretty. I don't know. This is a really tough one. It's one of the toughest ones to describe. Sorry, my nose is itching. As usual, this is what happens. It feels like there's something citrusy, and it feels like almost like the greenery of frankincense, even though I don't think there's frankincense even listed. I don't know. It's like slightly green resinous and a tiny bit ambery and a bit leathery as well. But that one's a really tough one. I would probably read some in-depth reviews about that one if you want to get to know what that one feels like. And then the other one is Sable and Soleil, so sun and sand. This is another one. I can never remember what it smells like or what it feels like, but one second. This one has lemon, it has coconut milk, jasmine, geranium, sandalwood, white musk, vanilla, and tonka beans. So this is meant to be about sandy beaches, exotic flowers, Eden. This is a real tough one to describe. I don't smell lemon at all. It almost feels a little bit sappy and sharp. It does feel like something like an aromatic or like a garden type fragrance, like plants or like the stems of things, but nothing as beautiful as galbanum. It's very light as well. It's really hard to say what the standout note in this one is because it just smells of one thing. It just smells of greenery. It smells of slightly herbaceous and sappy. It's called Sun and Sand, so I thought it was going to be about beaches, but it's not. This is more about sunshine, maybe on a garden near a beach. I don't know. It's a really hard one. It smells salty as well. I can feel that salt nuance you get from marine fragrances. So it's salty green, herbaceous. That's the main thing I can say about it because it's a really tough one. And last but not least, probably the most popular one, the one that I get asked about the most, customers wandering in asking for this one immediately. It is Taboc Rouge. It's the best seller from the entire Phaedon collection. Sorry, Phaedon collection. And there is a reason for that. The reason is it gets compared to Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille a lot. It gets compared to it as a cheaper alternative. I myself have compared it to Tobacco Vanille. The slight difference is, instead of them using vanilla like they did in Tobacco Vanille, they used honey in this. So it's altogether lighter. Tobacco Vanille can be quite cloying if oversprayed. This is a much lighter version of it. And the opening has a lot of ginger, so it's drier in the opening. It's a bit more spicy, this one. It's not as gourmand or sweet as Tobacco Vanille, but the tobacco is lovely. It almost feels a bit like tea sometimes when I wear it as well. But the tobacco, once it reveals, is really smooth. This one's just altogether drier, where I would say Tobacco Vanille is really dense and sometimes suffocating. This is like a baby sister, or just a much lighter alternative for a much cheaper price as well. So I like this one. It's probably one of my favourites from them. I also love Pure Azure, the Neroli one. I think it's really nice. Wherever it is. Oh, there. And Ilangara is also lovely. Rouge Avignon also. I don't know where it's gone. They're all over the place now, but that is my quick kind of spotlight on the Eau de Parfums from Phaedon. I hope you like this video. Like I said, I did do the Eau de Toilette, so maybe go and check that out as well. They're totally different to these. Very different. And that's it really. I hope you guys enjoy your day. I'm Ouch from Mono. Click my logo down there to subscribe, or hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys soon for another video. Goodbye.